and welcome to episode 27 of Book Writing Tips, Quick Tips for New and Seasoned Authors, and I am your host, Alba Arango. In today's episode, I want to focus on resources for writers. So whether you're just starting out, I'm going to talk about the software that I use for when I do my writing, and I'm going to talk about if you want to look for an agent or if you're going to self-publish, just some resources that can help you out. And I'm going to end with some promotional items that I like to find in the places that I like to find them. So with no further ado, let's get down to it. Let's talk resources for writers. Alrighty then, today's episode will be in two parts as always. In part one, I want to give you some resources you can use while you're writing your book. And in part two, I want to talk about resources you can use once you've completed your book. But before I get to either of those, I just want to talk about just a couple things. And one of them is I am going to be giving you a lot of links today. A lot of resources are online, and I'm going to give you the websites where you can go find them. The thing is, there's so many links that there's too many of them for me to put them in the description. I would go way over my character limit for this. So I am going to only put maybe 2 or 3 of the links in the description, and the rest of them are going to be literally for you to write down. So you may want to have like a pen and paper ready or the notes app open on your phone, because I'm going to be giving you a lot of resources for you to look up. And the other thing I want to talk about is that some of these resources do cost money. And I know that that can be tough because, money is tight. Gas is expensive. Groceries are expensive. Everything's kind of gone up in price, your rent, your mortgage, and, paying money for something to have to do with writing may not be realistic for you. Don't worry. A lot of these are free, but some of them are paid. And I want to kind of give you my take on this. If you are looking at writing as a way to earn some discretionary income, right? Maybe if you can just sell, 4 or 5 books a month, pay for your gym membership, that'd totally be worth it. Or maybe you're looking at writing as something more like a hobby. And on either of those, my take of it is if you were to look at any other hobby or any other side hustle that you would have, you would be spending money on it. Even if you're doing like rock painting for fun, right? That's kind of a fad now. I've even done it myself. It's kind of cool. You spend money on the markers. You spend money on the paintbrushes. So if you're going to look at it that way, then spending a little bit of money on your writing is no different than spending it on any other hobby. And of course, that's going to be true if you are looking at writing as a hopeful second career. Because if you are doing that, then you are definitely going to be wanting to invest some money into it just like you would any other career. Okay, I've said the 2 things I want to do. Let's get right down into these writing resources. Part 1, resources you can use while you are writing your book. Okay, I'm going to talk about, first of all, a writing software that I absolutely love. And there are other writing softwares up there, but I can't attest to them. I can't tell you if they're good, if they're bad. You can look up reviews for them. That's absolutely the way you can do it. I'm just going to tell you about the one that I use, and that is Scrivener. And I will put a link to that in there because it's like a really, really long one. It's like literature-and-latte.scrivener, I don't know, something long like that. But I'll look it up and I will put the link to that one for sure in the description below. And what I love about Scrivener is pretty much everything. I could actually do an entire podcast about that. But that is one of those things that helps me organize my notes, helps me organize myself. I can storyboard. I can have my research in one spot. I can open 2 screens and compare. I love all the things that have to do with Scrivener, but you can definitely go check it out. See what I'm talking about. It is definitely my favorite one. Now, this is where I'm talking about spending money because Scrivener is not free. The good thing about Scrivener, as opposed to some of the other ones I have heard of, is that it is a one-time fee. You pay for it once and then you never ever pay for it again. Whatever updates or anything that they have is all just a part of it. You pay for it once. So if you do your writing on your iPad, you're kind of lucked out because it's kind of cheap. It's literally $24 and that's it. That's all you pay and you get it forever for your iPad or your iPhone. However, if you do your writing like I do, old school on a computer, I actually do it all on my laptop now, but still a computer, it's actually more expensive. So it is $60 or $59.99 or something like that. But it is $60. It's again a one-time fee, and for me, it is 100% worth it. I have well more than gotten my use out of that. And I also love that the fact that when you're done with your book, it'll format it for you. So it'll format it for your ebook, and you don't have to worry about doing it yourself. So that's like an added plus in my thing. But anyways, I will put a link to Scrivener in the description below for that. Now, moving on, there's a couple of books I will recommend. There are tons of books about writing. If you are just starting out as an author, though, I would highly, highly recommend The Business of Being a Writer by Jane Friedman. And you can get that on Amazon, and you can probably get that, at your local library. So again, The Business of Being a Writer by Jane Friedman. And this is going to talk about everything about your business of writing, literally everything from promoting, everything from finding an agent and costs that go with it, and how to look at writing as a business. So if you are thinking of doing writing for making money, I would highly advise this book. The other one I would recommend is On Writing by Stephen King. And this is a craft book. This is something that can just kind of help you out with really how to craft your novel. So those are just a couple books that I would recommend. Again, you can get them from the local library, so they don't have to cost anything, or you can just get them from Amazon in probably Kindle version or physical version. You could probably get them, of course, at Barnes & Noble or your local indie bookstore or anywhere else you normally buy books. All right, let's get to some online resources. So one of the places that I have found just an absolute plethora of resources about almost anything you can possibly think of that has to do with writing is the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. Now, let me just tell you, that's all about children's literature, but that's what I write. So this is the one that I know. And this is another one I'm going to put the link to in the description because it is another complicated one because it's like scbwi.org. And that's like what? But if you write children's literature, anything from board books all the way through young adult, I would highly advise you take a look at that. Again, there is a membership fee, and I don't remember what it is because I have it automatically renewed, but I think it's like $80 a year, something like that. But wow, do you get all kinds of resources for that. And they have like in-person meetings. They have all kinds of things for you to participate in. And of course, they have a huge conference and mini conferences, and they have, webinars. They have all kinds of stuff. So I would check them out if you are writing children's. If you don't write children's, then I would look at the professional organization in the genre that you are interested in. So Romance Writers of America, or there's the Sci-Fi Fantasy Association, I think it's called. But I would definitely look into joining those groups because they always have tons of resources for their members. So look at a professional organization like that. Just remember, it is going to have a membership due. All right, another one. This one is free. WritersDigest.com. Now, WritersDigest.com has been around for like ever. It used to be a monthly magazine that you'd get once a month. They may even still have it. I don't know if they do anymore. I used to get it delivered to my house because this was long before the internet. So they've been around for a while. They have resources on pretty much everything you can think about, from writers, from agents, from publishers. They have all kinds of articles for you to read. It's a really, really great resource. They also have, I believe it's a weekly newsletter. I do subscribe to it. I think it's free as well. In fact, it is free. I just don't remember how often it comes. So I don't remember if it's once a week or once a month. I think it's once a week though. But it's pretty cool because they have a lot of cool stuff in there as well. I get so many newsletters. I forget how often they come. All right, another one. WritersHelpingWriters.net. WritersHelpingWriters.net. What I like about that resource is that they actually have links to all kinds of resources. So if you're looking for something specific about querying, they have a link to that. If you're looking for something specific about writing, the hero's journey, they have a link to that. They have a lot of links. And that's, of course, it is exactly what it says, Writers Helping Writers, which is super, super cool, right? So I love that resource as well. Another one I would do is janefriedman.com. And that is spelled Jane, like the name Jane. And then her last name is Friedman, Friedman.com. She also has a ton of resources for writers. I mean, all kinds of things from like templates, and she's just amazing. And it's all for free. Her thing is all for free. She does have a paid newsletter that I absolutely love. And I believe it is a once every other week newsletter, but it is really, really cool. All the coolest, the new things happening in writing world, AI, everything. She is on top of all of it. So I love her resource as a newsletter. She does have a free newsletter as well. So that is one where if you have some extra money, it'd be cool to pay for that newsletter, but she has a free one and her resources are amazing for free on her website as well. And one last resource I'm going to give you before we head to part 2, and that is writers groups. If you don't belong to a writers group, I would highly, highly, highly advise joining a writers group. And if you don't have one in your local area, I'm actually going to give you the website to our local one here, and that is the hendersonwritersgroup.com. because their weekly meetings are Zoom and hybrid. So they have in-person meetings and they have hybrid meetings where they're in person and Zoom. So we have people who are in Canada, people who are all the way across the country, people from all over that tune in for our weekly meetings because it's online and you don't have to go anywhere and it's free to join. It's free to join those meetings. It is not free to join the Henderson Writers Group. If you want to read your book or parts of your book and have it critiqued, then you do have to become a member, and that is $50 a year. So, but you don't have to do that. If you want to just join the meetings, listen to the critique, participate in the meetings as far as critiquing others, you can absolutely do that. So that is kind of a cool thing if you don't have a writers group in your area. All right, we're going to take a quick break from this to talk about our crazy law / writing prompt. If you are new to the show, every week I give you a crazy law, and this is an actual law that was a real law in history. It might even still be a law, who knows? And your challenge is to write a story about that law. And it could be why you think the law became a law or something about the law, anything you want. It's your story, and it's just a way to flex your writing muscles. So here we go. Today's crazy law / writing prompt. In the state of South Dakota, it is illegal to sleep in a cheese factory. There you go. That's your writing prompt in the week. Good luck. I think you can write a pretty cool story about that. All right, but let's get to part 2. Let's say you have finished your book. What are some resources I can give you to help you out now? So I want to talk first about if you are going to seek an agent. Then I want to talk about if you decide to self-publish, some resources for that. So here we go. Let's start with if you decide you want to get an agent. The first resource I want to give you is something called querytracker.net. querytracker.net. And basically querytracker.net is how almost all agents want to receive query letters from you. So most agents do no longer accept them via email or via snail mail. They only accept them through Query Tracker. It is free, so it's a free resource. They do have a premium, and I think it's like $25 a year, which might be worth it, but you can look at what the premium offers that might be worth it to you or not, because I think it shows you statistics and things like that. So that might be worth it to you. But I would definitely sign up for Query Tracker because you can also look up agents. Like literally, you can do a search for, hey, what agents are looking for YA fantasy? And it'll give you a list of agents. And then you can go to their website and see what they're all about and see if they sound like someone that would be a match for you. And then you can narrow down your search of who you want to query. So that is a fantastic research if you are just starting your query trenches that you're going to be getting into. Now, coupling with that is publishersmarketplace.com. publishersmarketplace.com. Now, this one is going to be a paid service, and it is not necessarily cheap. It is $25 a month. But the good news is once you get your agent, you may not want to subscribe to this anymore. But what Publishers Marketplace does is you go there and it will tell you every single deal that was made today. And tomorrow you go in every single deal that was made. And you can sign up for literally it's sent to your email. So you can actually email and see what is being sold right now, today, on a day-to-day basis. The other thing is that you can actually search for, let's say you found an agent you really like on Query Tracker, you can go to Publishers Marketplace and you can do a search for the history of that agent and what they have sold. So you can see if that agent has sold anything in the last year, the last 2 years, or how many they have sold. And you might end up like, this agent sounds really good, and then you go look and they haven't sold anything since 2022. Well, then you might want to have reservations. If this agent has been inactive for so long, what does that mean? So this is a good resource for you to kind of couple with Query Tracker. All right, another one, manuscriptwishlist.com. Manuscriptwishlist.com. Now this resource is great, again, if you are searching for an agent, because not all agents use manuscript wish lists, but some do. And the ones who do literally put on there what they want, like what their wish list would be. Like, I really, really wish I would get a story about, fantasy, that deals with this and this. I mean, so that's pretty cool, because if you narrow it down to what you want to look for in an agent, and you want an agent that's looking for this, that might be a great place to find agents. Then you can go to Query Tracker and you can query them there. Most of them will have a link to it on Manuscript Wishlist, and you can look them up on Publishers Marketplace. And just one last thing, I've already talked about these two resources in part 1, and that is writersdigest.com and also janefriedman.com, because both of them in their newsletters will sometimes put if there is a new agent that just came out or that is now looking for something, they'll put it in their newsletter. It's not every week and it is not every genre, but if you are already going to do it because you want to see those resources, then yeah, that might be another place for you to find an agent. All right. Let's move on to what if you want to self-publish your book. All right, a couple of recommendations, just really, really quick. If you are going to self-publish your book, I would recommend getting your own ISBN so you control it. If you go with Amazon's free ISBN, you do not control it. You cannot take your book and upload it anywhere else because Amazon will not allow that. All right, so I would get your own ISBN and you would get that through Bowker.com. And I will put a link to that in there because that is an important one, in my opinion, if you're going to self-publish. The other one is the Library of Congress. You should, in my opinion, get a Library of Congress control number for your self-published book. For self-published books, they are actually called a PCN, a pre-assigned control number, and you get them from the Library of Congress. So you would go to loc.gov and you have to do that before you publish your book. So if you're going to publish your book next month, you need to be already going to loc.gov and you need to be applying for your PCN. It's free. So they just assign you a number and then you can put that in the front page of your book underneath your ISBN. Okay, if you're going to self-publish and you want to do physical copies of your book, the two biggest ones are ingramspark.com. And if you are planning or hoping that your book gets picked up by Barnes & Noble, they only buy through Ingram Spark. They won't buy through Amazon. So you may really want to consider publishing through Ingram Spark first, because once you publish on Amazon, Ingram Spark will not publish your book. So ingramspark.com. And then once you've got it there, you can publish your book through Amazon. And your physical book would be through kdp.amazon.com. kdp.amazon.com. And that is where either of those, they will also help you with an ebook. Now, if you want to upload your ebook to, say, iBooks, to Nook, to Kobo, if Kobo's still around, you might want to use a drafttodigital.com or smashwords.com. Either of those two are great. They're kind of like a middleman. You upload it one time to, say, Draft to Digital, and then they upload it to everywhere, to Overdrive, to Amazon, to Nook, Kobo, all the places. So that they do take a cut. It's a small cut, but they do take a cut, just so you know. But for the convenience of not having to upload it to every single one of them yourself, since you are self-publishing, it's all on you. Those are resources that most authors use. So Draft to Digital, and it's draft, the numeral 2, digital.com or smashwords.com. Okay, so now you've got your physical books, you've got your ebooks. Now it's time for you to promote your items. And as far as marketing goes, I definitely do not have enough time to do marketing. So I will very quickly give you some resources to look for promotional items like bookmarks, business cards. Those are the kinds of things you're going to want. And here are some addresses so that you can go there. Canva.com is a great course. They have tons of templates for absolutely everything. I mean, Canva.com has templates for everything. YouTube thumbnails, business cards, like everything. And it is free, so it's wonderful. Now, if you do the premium, you have way more options, but the free one has great options too. So I would go to Canva.com. If you want to do business cards, you can do them from Vistaprint.com is probably the one most people use. But this last time, I actually used Zazzle.com, Zazzle.com, and I got some pretty cool business card templates from them. Banners, stickers, all those kind of promotional items, you can do a search for them. I have done them through Vistaprint. I've done them through Gotprint.com, Vistaprint.com. There's a lot of places you can do. If you just do a generic search for them, you can find them. These are just ones I know for sure deliver good quality. So Canva.com, Vistaprint.com, Gotprint.com, and Zazzle.com are all ones that I have used that have done well for me. All right, that is all. I am way past where I should be for this. So until next week, remember, if you have liked this or if you have any comments, please email me at alba@albaarango.com. I'll have a link to that as well. And if you have suggestions of what you'd like to hear, please drop them in the comments below, or you can email me again, alba@albaarango.com. Until next week, be safe. Have a safe and sane Halloween, and I will see you all next week.